Hi, my name is Julian from Ocean-Spring Watermakers, and in this video I'm going to show you how to commission or recommission one of our modular water makers. The idea of the commissioning or recommissioning is basically to flush out the preserving agent that is either on new membranes or on a previously pickled water maker. That's why the procedure is basically the same. It's about flushing out this preserving agent before storing product water to your tanks. And let me show you now what you need to pay attention to in the details. So when we got a freshly installed unit, before we start we want to make sure a few things. First, make sure the switches on the control board are in their off position, the product water valve is in a raised position, and the pressure regulator is all the way open. Next, you make sure that the switch in the control box and the switch on the motor unit are both in their on position. They should remain like that, and then the control is only done via the control panel. After that, you can open the seacock and bleed the seawater line to the feed pump, because the feed pump must not run dry and is not self-priming. So you want to make sure that the air is going out there and seawater is coming in to the feed pump. So the way to do it is to open a hose clamp on the outlet side of the feed pump, wiggle a bit on the hose so air can get out, and do that until water is coming out of the feed pump. Once you reach that point, you can close the hose clamp again and switch on the feed pump. After that point, it can actually suck in the water and supply the system with seawater. For those who don't like to do this way, there's also an alternative, which you could consider to be a smart option, and that is to use fresh water to prime the system until the high pressure pump. So you open the flushing valve on the active carbon filter housing, let water go into the fine filter housing to the high pressure pump, and once it's reached there, you close it. Once the water reached the high pressure pump, you close again the flushing valve. And what you do then is you switch on the high pressure pump first, because this one has suction capabilities, and do this one and the work to suck out the air of the seawater intake line and suck in water, and then switch on the feed pump on top of that. This way you can get around the manual bleeding. In my case, that's done. So the procedure then is to switch on the feed pump. You will hear it, and you will also see the pressure on the small pressure gauge increase. And you let that run for a few seconds until the system is really filled with seawater. And the next thing you're going to do is to switch on the high pressure pump and let the system now run for another 10 minutes without pressure. And after those 10 minutes, you start increasing the pressure by closing the pressure regulator to around 55 bars. And now you let the system produce water going through the waste for 20 to 30 minutes. After those 20 to 30 minutes have passed, you can check the water by testing the TDS and testing its taste. And if the TDS is below 500 and the taste is good, then you can be sure that all the preserving agent is washed out, and you can divert the product water into your tanks. Once you reach that point, you're basically done with the commissioning and just in the normal production run. So the normal production run differs in the commissioning run only in that way that you don't wait for such a long time before you start increasing the pressure or before you divert the product water into your tanks. So in a normal production run, you just switch on the feed pump. You see the pressure increasing here. You switch on the high pressure pump, and then you can already start increasing the pressure. And once you reach the typical operational pressure, you see the product water flowing. You switch on the TDS monitor and can check the TDS. And as soon as the TDS drops below 500, you can divert the product water into your tanks, and the water production is going. And as soon as you decide that you produced enough water, you stop the system by releasing the pressure. And once the pressure regulator is all the way open, you switch off the high pressure pump, you switch off the feed pump. Now the system is basically shut off, but still filled with seawater. And seawater remaining in the system will cause two things. It will cause corrosion on the pump, and it will cause biological growth in the membranes. with shortening the lifespan of your Watermaker. So my recommendation is, after each run of your Watermaker, flush it with fresh water. After you shut the system off, you open the flushing valve on the carbon filter and let around 10 liters of water pass through the system. Once this is done, you switch off again the flushing valve and the unit is shut off and properly flushed. In this state, it can remain unused or unflushed for 7 days. Depends a bit on the temperature zone you're in. And within those 7 days, you should either use the system again or flush it again. And if you can't do either of those, then you need to pickle the unit. How the pickling is done, I will show you in the next video. So much on the commissioning and usage of our Watermakers. In case you got any questions left, just let me know down in the comments or get in touch with me directly. In any case, thank you very much for your attention and see you in the next video. Bye.